You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I am a monster. And today's episode will be brought to you after these words from our sponsors, which will be, I am sure, unnecessarily jaunty.
It's a big galaxy. To make it here, you have to be prepared for anything. Take control. Embrace the abyss and seize your moment. Be legendary. Void. The new fragrance for masculine beings from Brosk. Void. Void. Void.
Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Adam and I am the GM for episode 27 of the Coldfire Chronicles. I am joined around the table by...
They're not talking to you anymore.
Hi, I'm Mim. I play Lassa. She is a human sentinel artisan. Her emotional strength is her curiosity, but her weakness is obsession.
Hi, I'm Mikey. I play Jiren. He's a Chiss mystic advisor and soon-to-be Dark Jedi. His emotional strength is his enthusiasm, and his emotional weakness is punching Pyjak in the face. And also recklessness.
Hi, my name is Ed Fortune. I play the character of Beren. He is a human hunter, Atoru striker, seeker. His emotional strength is justice, as in justice for Sprinkle. And his emotional weakness is cruelty, as in he's going to keep kicking a certain Dark Jedi until he's dead.
Hi, I'm Ross. I play Agatha, a Morailan warrior, Aggressor Colossus, whose emotional strength is his wounded pride, and his weakness is his obsession.
Where we last left our heroes, they are in the cavern containing Coldfire's mercy. The space in this cavern seems strangely stretched. The light coming through the frozen waterfall is diffused in an ethereal fashion. There is the smell of blood in the cold, cold air. At the gangplank of Coldfire's mercy, we see Pyjak. He is down on one knee and he is trapped in a thick net of polycarbonate material. Hunkered down underneath the net is the rotary blaster, which has taken the life of Prinkle. Prinkle's lifeless body is in front of Jiren behind a stalagmite at the far end of the cavern, covered in a thick greenish goo from the orb that Jiren broke over his body as he willed so hard for Prinkle to return without success. Lassa is in the middle of the cavern, behind an outcropping of stone, rock and ice crystal, the empty net gun in her hands as she watches Pyjak. To the left of her, we see Agatha. Each of his mighty fists is clasped around the shattered helmet of a stormtrooper, and two further stormtroopers are cowering behind rocks nearby, their rifles drawn and aimed at him. And perpendicular to where Agatha is, we see Beren, crouched behind an outcropping himself, his rifle smoking. A single surviving stormtrooper on that side of the cavern, shaking as they hold their blaster rifle at him from behind a column of rock. We are back at the top of initiatives. Player character to go.
Who wants to go first?
I'd like to deal with what's left of my two, but I'm open to suggestions.
Go for it.
So I'm going to attempt another force leap, because I think that's the most straightforward way of covering the distance. I mean, he could probably just charge normally.
Yeah, they're only short distance away, aren't they?
Yeah, they're only short range. But it's a manoeuvre either way, and it's the visuals of it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's ripped the first two apart. He's going to continue screaming because he's upset, because, among other things, he would never have expected Prinkle to do that for him, and he's just carrying on against his wounded pride at the moment. Agatha's going to run directly at the remaining two, and I'm going to engage with them again. And they may not be surviving. Okay, so that's a triumph, 2 advantages, and a failure, but 2 dark side points. In order to get these guys out of the way, I'm going to use all 3 dark side points that I've got to bring that into successes, but I'm going to use the advantage straight away to try and reduce the amount of strain, because otherwise I'm at threshold. So I'm going to use the advantages to bring the strain back. What that looks like is Agatha is continuing his rage charge. Is it under the gangplank, where these guys were hiding? Or trying to maintain some cover again? He's gone straight after them. There's been no opportunity for them really to make any comeback against him for dealing with the first 2. He's just continued to barrel straight into them, and he's simply ripping them to pieces. There's nothing left of Agatha there.
Okay.
This is going to look great on my next conflict test.
Mm-hmm. Next player character.
So, Beren takes a look behind to see if Agatha's okay.
He's in fact in front of you now at this point.
Alright.
He's in front of you to the left.
And he's making an awful lot of noise, so you don't necessarily need to turn around.
Yeah, I see what's going on with Agatha, and Agatha is okay, and those stormtroopers aren't. There's a moment of conflict as that justice cruelty balance, that meter that swings wildly in his head, and he audibly, so the stormtrooper can hear it, he says, "Sorry." And I flip to stun, because we need to know where the Dark Jedi is. And I shoot the terrified stormtrooper. And rather than putting him out of his misery, I stun him, which is worse as far as Beren is concerned. Because it won't be over for him. And that's not a good thing.
I'm flipping a dark side point. So between that and their cover, your difficulty is 1 red, 2 setback.
Yep, that's fair. I'll take a manoeuvre to him.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that's 5 advantage.
Yep.
And 1 success from the Force. I could be 2 successes from the Force, but I don't want to take the dark side point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 6 advantage and 1 success. And I'm set to stun. Can you crit twice?
You don't need to. That is enough base damage to stun out this 1 remaining stormtrooper, leaving you all those advantage.
I'll take some strain back, please.
Okay. What does that look like as you take out this remaining Stormy?
Can it take his helmet off?
Yeah? With that much damage and that many advantages, yeah.
The helmet flies off. We realise he's quite young looking as the helmet flies off, and it's like he literally just falls to the floor.
And of those advantages, you're using them all for strain.
I'll take them all for strain, which puts me back to where I was pretty much almost. I find it relaxing.
As Agatha's like, "Oh, please, sir, please may I have some strain back?" Okay, next player character. So you're aware, Mim, Pyjack will not have any manoeuvres because he's still all tangled up, but he will have his action back this turn, which means he can fire again.
Which is why you need to go first.
I've got to try and get that gun without letting him out, or I've got to try and break that gun. Can I check? These guns, are they primarily mechanical or do they have electrical components?
They're blasters, so it's a combination of the two.
Because I've got my Insta-Zappy mini EMP thing. Would that...
No, it probably wouldn't.
You also have your manipulate power.
Yeah, I was looking at that and I wasn't sure. I've got it for droids.
Yeah, it's specifically droids.
I was looking at it and I was looking all around it and going, have I got anything? I can enhance the weapon. And I was there thinking, well, can I cause it to overload?
So, yes, because these weapons are notorious for overloading. So, despairs and threats from Pyjack's combat test, for example, can be used to cause the weapon to overheat and damage the weapon. If you want to try to sunder it, or to basically cause it to short out, you will have to be touching it, so you would have to be engaged with him. But there is that potential. I would allow you to make a mechanics and force check. It would be hard, but I would allow you to make that test to short it out with your mind.
I think I'm going for it. I shot him with the net. I don't think I could stand there and shoot him again. I'm thinking about it, but Lassa couldn't. She just can't. She's already shot one person who was incapacitated to kill him, and I don't think she could do it to a friend. So we're going to end up in a horrible mess trying to grapple and destroy this gun with my mind, with a whole load of Get off it, you silly bugger. Just let go. Just stop, Pyjack. Just stop. We're here to help.
So, I'm going to spend a dark side point.
Oh, of course you are.
You should be glad it gives you some back in your pool.
Yeah, we do need them.
Your difficulty is 1 red, 2 purple. It's a mechanics test, and I will allow you to use your force dice for this, but you need to spend at least 1 force pip for it to work.
Okay.
Because you're having to make that connection with it. It's not like you can just whip out your hydro spanner and give it an old cranking. What you're trying to do is to short it.
Oh dear. I was rolling far too well earlier. So, I've got no successes on the dice, just 3 advantage, but I've got a light side and a dark side.
Okay. So, and the bonus dark side for the virgins. Let me frame this in mechanical terms to help you kind of gather your head around this. You will need at least 1 success to have the power work at all, okay? Which can be your light side point, which basically allows you to use Sunder. Then for every advantage you spend, it will damage it 1 step. To take it from fine, which it currently is, to broken, will take effectively 4 advantage. So you will need to use at least 1 dark side point alongside your advantages and your light side point to make it work in the first place.
Join us, there are cookies.
Alright, she's going to use both the light and the dark, and she is going to pour her anger into destroying that weapon, because she can't pour the anger into Pyjack. She knows technically it's not his fault, but as she's trying to get a mental grip on this gun, she's going to spend all of the advantages, both the light and dark side point that she rolled, not the 3rd one, if I don't have to. And it's just going to be a case of, snap out of it, man. You've got to snap out of this. What are you doing? Why are you such an idiot? How could you do this? Why did you even think about it? And all of that anger, as she's yelling at him while they're struggling over the gun, is going to be poured into destroying it. So it goes poof.
And you rend the gun. All the circuits in it fry. The barrel comes away, and it just becomes chunks of metal, which are caught in the net around him. Kind of his hand is still gripping hold of the firing mechanism, but the barrels have come disconnected. And it's his turn.
Just back down. I don't want to have to hurt you, Pyjack. Stop being you.
Now, fortunately, because he's still entangled, he doesn't have any manoeuvres, which means he can't draw his pistol and shoot you in the gut.
Forgot about that.
But what he does do is he just makes in a little bit of space between you, and his helmet locks on you, and you can't see his eyes through this helmet. It is that cold, inhuman visage of an Imperial stormtrooper through it, you know. And his voice crackles out again, broken and wounded. Good soldiers follow orders. And he snaps his forehead down and tries to headbutt you square in the face. 1 success, you'll be happy to know. That is 5 damage before soak, as he smashes his helmet into your face. But that's all he can do.
Oh my god, that bloody hurt, man.
Jiren.
Jiren reaches down and picks up Prinkle, hoisting him up. He's not particularly strong, Jiren, but Prinkle is tiny and a little bit frail. He steps out from behind the stalagmite and starts walking up the cavern. And I imagine it's 1 manoeuvre to pick him up, and then
You can pick him up as part of your move. I'm quite happy with that.
Okay.
Because you were basically kneeling down with him next to him anyway, so it can all be part of the same manoeuvre.
So I'm going to move up to short range from, I think Baron's at medium range at the moment from me, so short range there, and then move up into engaged with them by spending 2 strain to get an extra manoeuvre.
To Baron or to the unconscious stormtrooper, they're all reasonably close, I suppose.
I'm not aiming towards those guys. I'm walking up the... how far am I away from Pyjack right now?
You are short distance from Pyjack, Lasser, the unconscious stormtrooper, and Agatha, and you are roughly parallel with Baron.
Gotcha. I'm going to stare at Pyjack. Jiren is just gone. There's no smile there. He's always got a smile on his face, but he has no smile right now. And he's going to stare at Pyjack. And he's going to say, in a venomous whisper which carries with the power of the Force. Look what you've done to your friend. Stand down, you idiot. And then I'm going to try and influence him.
Okay. So I seem to recall this is an opposed discipline test.
It is.
Your difficulty is 2 red.
Yep.
I think I'm going to give you a boost.
I do have a Prinkle as a demonstration piece.
Yeah.
With a plethora of dice, I have rolled just 1 success, a fret, 2 light side, and 3 dark side, or 4 dark side if you count the area. So, with the amount of discipline he's got, I imagine that's a fairly difficult thing to break through. He is focused on the mission. He's focused on being a good soldier, but just about pushing through. And with that, I'm going to use just the light side, because basically what I'm trying to get him to do is I'm trying to break the negative emotions from him rather than to add anything on. He should start feeling remorse, but remorse in a situation like this isn't necessarily a bad thing. So we will have to put... he's at short range, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I'm putting one of those pips into range to allow me to do it to get to him. And then I am going to spend the other pip on duration. That's 4 rounds, because I've got a lot of duration.
Isn't it 1 pip to do it, 2nd pip to get the range?
Oh yeah, no, I suspend on first. Yeah, you're right. So I will just do it for the range then. I won't do it for the duration. It's 1 round. So close. Nearly getting to 5 rounds. I can't spend any more dark side. I'm going to be using far too much.
Oh, you and everyone else.
I think what happens is he staggers back and he's managed to work one hand free of the web, and he clutches his forehead. You know, his shoulders are bowed, he's got his head in his hand, and his shoulders start to rack with almost like a sob. He's losing control of his body a little bit as your will pushes through the chip in his brain, an Order 66 that has overtaken him. And I think what that's going to do is once again cause him to lose his next action as he's trying to break free of this mind control.
Okay.
And we're back at the top of initiative.
Does anybody have a problem if I just go straight to the Pyjack and throw a glop grenade at him?
A what grenade?
Glop grenade. It's the one that keeps you someone immobile. He just...
Oh, right, no, that's fine. As long as he's not going to blow him up.
No. I was picking the right kind of grenade.
Yeah, before you do that, and just for personal growth, he is engaged with Lesser.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay. I was going to modify that by saying I was going to shout at Lancer to get out of the way or something before I did it, but...
But you're still going to go first.
I'm offering an option. I have these grenades that will immobilize Pyjack. I would like Lasser to not be in the firing range when I do this. Is this a good idea? Other suggestions are perfectly acceptable to me.
If you want Lasser to be out of the range, she will have to go before you do.
Yeah. That is why I offer options before I do things.
You can have this conversation kind of I'm going to... Because there's one more round left of his... Basically, this is the last round of him being netted up.
Yeah.
If you give me some warning as to what you're going to do, and even better, if you actually verbally go, move out the way, Lasser, or something, then that would be very good.
I might even start with, Lasser, do you need any help?
You're just going to get a sarcastic response.
Formal
there.
invitation.
I mean, this is going too far, I suppose, isn't it?
But yeah, so what does Agatha shout? How does Lasser respond?
I think Agatha's just going to look at the remains of the stormtroopers in front of them and drop those and look around at what else is going on around him for a moment first. But beyond that, Lasser, can I help you? If you get out of the way, I can throw a glop grenade at him.
All right, just stop him from doing anything else.
Hopefully this will.
I'm assuming this is Lasser's moves then, because I've got to actually spend maneuver and stuff to get out the way. Okay, so on my turn then, I'm going to spend 1 maneuver to roll away, and I don't think there's anything useful I can do right now. We're out of... There's no one else to do anything with, or...
That we know of, yeah.
So I'm just going to go to Prinkle.
Yeah, I think Pyjack's going to be losing his next turn. He's about to be glopped by Agatha, and realistically, Agatha isn't going to miss this glopping, which will then immobilise him further. He can't draw a weapon or move because he will be glopped. If he had a weapon out that was functioning, he could still, shoot people, but he doesn't anymore. So I think I'm going to drop out of structured time but the encounter does continue with the unconscious stormtrooper by Beren, and I presume the glopped Pyjak, because with Lassa out of the way, there is nothing stopping Agatha just underhand tossing the glop grenade at him, which will encase him in foam.
Okay.
Baron uses the tools on his armour to hook the stormtrooper and just drags him by the collar of the guy's armour to where Pyjak is, because then we only have to keep our eyes on one place, as it were. So I just drag him over.
Jiren watches predatorially as you drag him past.
We should probably ask at least one of these two questions.
As you pull him past, Jiren watches as he goes, and as he gets closer, he lets his arm go limp, and holding Prinkle in his arm like you would a baby, he crouches down as he comes past. Then his hand darts out, and it sits on this unconscious stormtrooper's forehead, and Jiren lets out a sigh of just exhaling all of the breath in his body. The problem with Prinkle is where we are. There is too much darkness here. We couldn't make the life force stick. So I'm borrowing it from here. I say borrowing. I'm stealing it from here. And I'm going to pull the life energy out of this guy and put it in my friend.
How obvious is this?
I'm just leaning down and seeing how this guy is.
Okay.
And I think knowing how many dice Jiren has in deception...
Yeah, there's no way of telling.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, I've used all of my cunning gambits, and there's a good chance this isn't going to work anyway, so...
Alright, I've got one question though.
Yeah.
If you look at Lassa, and Lassa sees you, is there a possibility that Lassa can work it out? I'll roll anything, because Lassa has the orb.
Jiren certainly looks like he's gone. He doesn't look anything like he's looked before. Chiss kind of have a imperious... They make very good bricks, the entire planet, and he looks like that now.
I think that if Beren can't work out that you're going to harm shock this guy he's dragging, I think it's also fair to say that Lassa can't work out that you're about to do something either. And I would like a force dice roll from you, please, Mikey.
Okay, so that's just 2 force dice, because all of the things that I can use, I have used. Yeah. I don't actually necessarily need to use Darkside to do it, which is weird. I always think that's a bit weird. But because I'm not really collecting the conflict just for the hell of it, I'm going to use that light side pit. And the justification for it is this, is I am not... My aim here is not to kill this guy so much as to bring my friend back to life. Everybody else, all of the other stormtroopers are dead. This guy is only alive through the, I'm going to say mercy, but this guy is only alive through the cruelty of my friend. So he's not thinking of it like, I need to kill this guy for to bring him back to life. It's like, I need to bring Prinkle back to life, and this is my way of doing it.
I imagine that there's a bit of you going, just to take enough. Maybe not all of it, but just enough. With the intention not being to kill, but just to take enough to help Prinkle.
Well, he's a stormtrooper, when Prinkle's very small. So surely it'll be fine. I mean, to be honest, with the amount of conflict I'm about to get, he doesn't care. But that's his justification. And I'm going to use my arm as a conduit. The life force travels up my arm, and round, and into Prinkle.
We see, because the stormtrooper has no helmet at the moment, and this youthful face, pale and pallid, possibly from his Coruscanti upbringing, compounded by years of wearing a stormtrooper helmet throughout his training, shrivel as the essence is torn from him. We see the wounds on Prinkle start to glow with a leprous purple energy before sealing up. And then, in Jiren's arms, Prinkle coughs and starts to breathe again. And that is where I'm ending the episode for today.
I am so looking forward to this morality check. I was doing so well.
Thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you to my players. Thank you, as always, to you, our listeners, for being with us on this journey through the gates of death and back. But at what price? Well, we will find that out next time.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our intro music for this season is Unholy Night by Kevin MacLeod, and our outro music remains Suburban Outlaw by Forget the Whale, both used with gratitude under the Creative Commons license. If you like the show and want to interact with us, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, all of which are at Force Majeure Pod, though Twitter is probably where you're going to find us more regularly. If you enjoy what we do and want to support the show, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is via our Patreon at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod. The second is by buying us a coffee at ko-fi.com/forcemajeurepod. And the third way is by rating and reviewing us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere where you can find us. We really like reviews. It tells us that we're telling the stories that you want to hear and helps other people find us. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time.